Hey guys, so after having time to digest what we've seen, I have to say that I haven't been this excited for an expansion in a while. Um, I mean, I think the last time I actually had fun playing an expansion was Legion. Um, I mean, despite the fact that Legion had the grind with the artifacts, it was fun because it wasn't like it it didn't make you feel like it was for nothing. Every time you leveled up your artifact or whatever, you felt more powerful. And then by the end of the game, or by the end of the expansion, when you're completely maxed out, or rather not maxed out, you can still keep going, you were just insanely overpowered. And it was such a great feeling, going back and just like, pew! I love the fact of getting the artifacts, these items, these weapons that we've known and loved, and, Ashbringer and Doomhammer, some of the newer ones that they introduced. I mean, getting to hold the freaking scepter of Sargeras, the 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 same one that Ner'zhul had as he was fucking tearing portals open on Draenor, which caused it to become so like it just caused the planet to burst apart because of all these portals being opened. It was really cool. So it's been a while since I've been this excited. Not to mention, Legion also had Demon Hunters, and they're so fucking fun. Even if you're just a person who likes exploring, Demon Hunters make exploring so much easier because they can double jump, they can glide. So, if you're a person who likes to break the boundaries and see what's outside of those boundaries, they're perfect. It takes so much guesswork out of the exploring part of it. Uh, but I haven't been this excited for an expansion in a while. And seeing the things that they're introducing, the profession system that they're doing, the essentially bringing back talent trees, having this special type flying that you have right from the beginning of the expansion, where it's not just you're not just flying. No, you're like zooming around. You can do spins. You can jump off and right back up into the air. That's what I wish flying was. That's what I wished it was. Um, I think flying it is such an integral part. Sorry, I'm trying to speak and I'm like hearing things outside. Hang on. Sorry, I think it was a squirrel. He's dropping nuts or something on the roof. And then I look outside and Venti's out there snoozing in the leaves. But an integral part, the flying. I mean, it was first introduced in Burning Crusade when you could fly in Outlands. Then you had cold weather flying to allow you to fly in Northrend. And then you had everywhere flying. Since Azeroth was completely revamped, they were like, okay, Cataclysm, the world's revamped. We're going to allow you to fly anywhere now. And flying has just become a part of it. But it's just basically point A, point B, nothing special, up, down. You can kind of go side to side, but it doesn't give you the freedom of moving in the air like spinning or whatever. So I think that's a really cool thing to have. The areas, like I said in the initial reaction, they're taking some of the best zones and blending them together. You have a place that looks like Grizzly Hills mixed with Ajara, mixed with fucking it's almost like a Borean Tundra, because Borean Tundra was kind of a mixture of a lot. Well, not a lot. I mean, you had the hot pools or whatever they were. You had Goldara. which was all icy, but then you had like this open field. So you had a lot of diverse terrain there. But yeah, they're taking all these inspirations from other areas and combining them, and you have a place that looks like Spires of Iraq and Ardenweald mixed together, and you know, it's just it makes some really great things here. So the expansion I'm really excited about. I'm even more excited about this. As I've said before, I have looked at numerous private servers in the past, and none of them really could keep my interest. Now, I'm playing on Ascension WoW right now, you know, Project Ascension, but Wrath of the Lich King for them is in beta. It's either alpha or beta right now. I don't remember. But that is a server that has a lot of fucking people. Like right now, the Mount Gannis server that they released, you go on there any time of the day. That freaking Ogrimmar is swarmed by people. You know, when you click for Dungeon Finder, it takes like a minute or so to find a group. It's incredible how many people are on that server. So, but it's still a private server, which means it still has problems. Blizzard is not going to allow scripting problems. They're not going to allow bugs, you know, that prevent you from completing a quest. They're not going to allow all that. And there's always going to be more than enough people to find a group. You're never going to go on and, oh, shucks, I wanted to join a group, but I can't do that now because there's no one on. That's not going to happen. People are really enjoying the classic World of Warcraft experience. And, I mean, really, the only reason I'm not playing it right now is I just can't afford the $15 a month. I'm just fucking broke. But I have more than enough time to, you know, make a little bit of money so that when this comes out, I also do want to pre-order. I mean, it's stupid to pre-order, but, you know. But, you know, Wrath is, like I've said before, Wrath is my favorite, followed by Mists of Pandaria. And it's just, like, if you didn't play during Wrath, you wouldn't understand. Like, I seriously, when I was watching this this preview, as soon as like the song started to play and you heard Arthas's father, I'm like, oh god, the feels. It's like I was like this close to fucking tearing up because of the nostalgia from it. It is such a good expansion. It really, I mean, 11.3 or 11.2 million players, great story. The world was absolutely beautiful. Class, you know, like, you know, classes were really fun to play. I remember having a lot of fun playing on my Warlock, which looks like WoW's is going to be making a comeback then. Actually, I think that's when I made WoW's, because I didn't have WoW's from the very beginning. I made WoW's in Wrath of the Lich King. I remember because I was sitting there, I was with my friend, and the cat had gotten hyper, and when he got hyper, she's like, oh man, he's got the WoW's again. I'm like, WoW's. So I typed in WOWS, it was taken, so then I typed in WOWZ, so, and then I started leveling my Orc Warlock named WoW's, and I've had him since Wrath, and he's usually the first one I level up. You know, he's pretty much like, I level up my Demon Hunter now first, just because it's a lot easier. I want to go through that main experience with the Demon Hunter Because a lot of times they're like, oh, you need to go up there. And I was like, okay. It's just a lot easier. But then the first character I'll level up after my Demon Hunter is WoW's, just because he's near and dear to me. And then Alstru would be the next one. So it's usually WoW's and then Alstru. The same thing. I made him in Wrath. Like, oh, I'm gonna make a mage, you know, Blood Elf mage, and I've just been leveling him up and keeping up with him ever since. Obviously not now. I haven't. I mean, I completely uninstalled the game because I'm like, I'm not gonna play it. It's just taking up space right now. So, you know, if the new expansion's worth playing, I'll just reinstall. It's not a big deal. But Wrath, it's just, like I said, if you didn't play at that time, you wouldn't understand. It's like it's like a bunch of people sitting together who all played it. You just say Wrath of the Lich King, and they're like, yeah, yeah. You know, I had such a blast during Wrath. It really was a great time, despite the fact that my computer sucked balls. But going through Howling Fjord, Grizzly Hills, getting up to fucking Sholzar Basin. Like I said, this was the time where you could actually call Blizzard. You know, they had, you know, tech support that you could call. And as you were waiting, the Sholzar Basin music would be playing. So it's not like some cheesy ass music. You're like, oh, okay, can you hurry up? It's like, actually, I'm not actually sure if I want them to pick it up right now. I'm enjoying listening to the music. And they were so helpful. I mean, it's like one of those. Normally, you call up like tech support or something, and it takes forever. But pretty much any time I called, they had the answers right away. They knew what they were doing. I was like, wow, this is nice. But Wrath of the Lich King is when they introduced looking for a group, which a lot of people are like, it takes away from the game, and you can just click the button and get in a new group. Well, exactly. Exactly. That's the point. Because some people don't have, and I've said it before, some people don't have 5 hours to sit in Orgrimmar or Stormwind or whatever. They're like, I'm looking for a group for this. Just need a healer and tank. Good to go. But then people are like, you know, the people who are waiting with you is like, oh, well, sorry guys, I have to go. And, you know, and then you're sitting there trying to get a dungeon done before like you go to work or something. And it's like, okay, well, fuck this. I guess I'm not going to be able to do this before I go to work. I might be able to do it after work. But then they introduce this thing where you click the button and boom, boom, you're just in there. So it's great for people who don't have time to sit there like, does anyone want to do this with me? Looking for 2 DPS and tank, then good to go. No one wants to do that anymore. I mean, there are people who do, but for the most part, when you it's not 2008. You know, a lot of people who were younger in that time now have jobs, they have kids, they have family. And while yes, it's like, well, then they shouldn't be playing. Why not? Maybe that's their you know, they do that on their downtime. And maybe the little downtime they get, maybe they don't want to be sitting in the fucking city looking for a group. Maybe it would just be more convenient to, boom, there, in the... Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, wait, that's right, there's something like that now. Same thing with guilds, or not guilds, but with raids. In Cataclysm, when they came out, they're looking for raid. You think looking for just a regular dungeon group was bad? Imagine looking for a raid when you can have like, what, 20, 40 people? So the introduction of looking for group really made things a lot easier. I think they added new professions, if I remember. The music was amazing. The area, the zones were amazing. The story was amazing. Seeing Arthas pop up in random places, whether it be a dungeon or a zone, it really gave you this, it gave you that whole, okay, this guy is a threat. We feel his presence everywhere. We see his hand in everything. It really lets you know who was in charge and who you were fighting the entire time. So when we finally got up to Arthas and killed him, it was so satisfying, because not only did we know the lore beforehand, but seeing him pretty much in some form throughout the entire expansion, I think he popped up in like almost every zone, which is great because it reminds you of the threat. And when he pops up, sometimes it would just be a vision. Sometimes he would just pop up and taunt you. But it's kind of like Cataclysm when you were just walking around and suddenly fucking death when he's like, "Bruh," and then you fucking die. It lets you know what what you were fighting for and against. Going around to all these places and seeing the damage that the villain has done. And right now, most of the time, I really don't feel like it's. Now, you look at something like Battle for Azeroth, where Sargeras, you saw what he did, even though he wasn't really the villain. I mean, he did do something, and you saw the result and what we were fighting for. I mean, stabbed his fucking sword into the planet. Blood all over the place, and like, oh god, it's all over me. Hey, let's just take this and form it into a necklace, okay? This necklace is gonna give me superpowers. But thinking back, like, Cataclysm was good because you saw what was at stake. Mists of Pandaria with the Shah were all over the fucking place. Whether just little tiny forms, or like Kunlai Summit, you had a Shah there you could fight. There was like, what, 7 in total, and it lets you know that, hey, this is what happens when you don't control your feelings. This shit gets unleashed. And then you had Warlords of Draenor, which I didn't really feel any real threat in Warlords of Draenor. You had the Warlords, but they all got taken out like bitches, so there was no real threat. Except for Blackhand. Blackhand was dope. Not only was he dope, he got taken out as the final boss of the raid, unlike, Kargath, who got taken out in the first, like, one of the first raids, and he was like the first fucking boss. Or Ner'zhul. Like I said, the guy opened so many portals that the planet destroyed itself, and you take him out in a 5-man dungeon. One of the Warlords of Draenor gets taken out in a 5-man dungeon. Tell me you don't respect your characters without without saying you don't respect your characters. Because nothing says I am disrespecting a character quite like having them killed in a 5-man dungeon when they're that huge of a lore character. Now, I know Kargath was taken out in BC, but this was before Kargath was really fleshed out. I mean, he had his story, but he was just like a generic-looking orc when you fought him. He was just like, me beat you. So, and then you had Grom, who he was trying to fight us and kill us the whole time. He's trying to enslave Draenor, and then we defeat Archimonde, and he's like, Draenor is free. We will never be slaves. It's like, dude, you're the one who started all this. It was you guys. Whose side are you on? Why are we helping you? But it's just, Wrath is just something special. It really is. I just wish there were better private servers for Wrath. I mean, you know, servers, like private servers have come such a long way. We've got people making their own custom things, and you know, like I said, I've been playing Project Ascension, and that's absolutely amazing. You know, they give you that whole, you know, free choice where you can pick any class specs. You can, you know, if you want to be a mage but have a fucking undead pet, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to be a frost-wielding tank that uses two-handed, you know, that has two-handed weapons, you can do that. You know, the sky's the limit in the game. I wish they would kind of implement that, but going classless would kind of destroy the whole fantasy of it. You know, I don't play Ascension for the whole fantasy of it. I play it because it's fun. But the talent tree is coming back, which Wrath also has a talent tree. They also had with the pets. The pets also had a talent tree. It was the same thing. You know, they gained points. I think a lot slower though. But it's the same thing. Like you put it here, it's like, oh yeah, 1% crit, or oh, you know, increases their auto attack by 4%, or you know, typical stuff. But it really made a difference. I mean, before you clicked it, you know, you notice like, oh man, my pet's really really bad for the most part. And then you click that thing and put the point there, and then suddenly they're doing double the damage or triple the damage. You're like, wow, my pet doesn't suck anymore. They also introduced the spirit pets, you know, the spirit beasts. So you had the bear, you had, I think, a wolf, then you had owl, you know, Locknahawk, which was one of them, who was in Sholzar Basin, which people are still after. I luckily have one. Took me forever. Took me since fucking Wrath of the Lich King to get the damn thing, but I saw it, I was like, I jumped on my hunter real fast. I'm like, Sholzar Basin, Sholzar Basin, and I run to the, like, you, mine. But I think I named him Frostbite. There's another person who had a name Frostbite, but I'm like, I like taking other people's names, so I just named it Frostbite. But just, it was so fun trying to catch that thing. Yeah, once Wrath Classic comes out, I'm probably going to be making more videos of that. That's if Ascension hasn't released their 20-something fucking brand new classes by that point. I know that shit's still an alpha. So, who knows? They might come out around the same time. But, yeah, Wrath of the Lich King, completely excited for. I'm going to play the fuck out of it because, unlike Burning Crusade, I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, Burning Crusade, the Grand, absolutely gorgeous. But there's something about Wrath of the Lich King and those zones, and it just takes you in, you know? Yeah, it's just, it's hard to, like I said, if you weren't playing it at that time, you don't understand. You really don't understand. I mean, there might be a game where you've played it, and so you know exactly what I'm talking about and how I feel. But if you're playing World of Warcraft, but you only started recently or only started after Cataclysm, you don't understand. you don't. I mean, I've been playing since Burning Crusade, so I've been playing a while, and I've said this before. Even if I stop playing forever, it's not like, you know, I'm never gonna hate the game. I'm always going to have a spot in my heart for WoW because, you know, it's been a large part of my life. I mean, fuck. For the horde, man. I mean, fuck. Um, it's always been a huge part of my life since I started playing it, and so even if I stopped playing it, I'm always gonna love the game. I'm always gonna look back for the lore videos and see what's currently happening. But yeah, Wrath of the Lich King, one of the best of all time, and I cannot wait to play it again legally and optimized. As I've said, the private servers are great, but they all suffer the same fucking problems. You start in the starting zones and nothing's scripted right. Quests don't work. The leveling rates are like increased 5 times, and sometimes you just don't want that. So it's gonna be good to play my favorite expansion this way on servers where I know that if something's not working, they're going to fix it right away. I mean, some of those private servers I've played on, you know, I started years ago and I went back to them now, and the same problems are there. The same fucking problems. So, private servers are great if you're trying to get your fix, but if you want a legitimate, no bugs involved experience, now you have it. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. That's enough rambling. What do you guys think about Classic Wrath? Are you looking forward to it? Are you someone who's played it, you know, played it when it first released? How long have you been playing? And is there a game that you've played that gives you the same feeling as the one I have with Wrath, that you won't, if you've never played it or played it when it was then, you just don't understand? Let me know below. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.